Today's date is Tuesday, November 19th, 2024, Seminole County Canvassing Board. The meeting of the Seminole County Canvassing Board will now come to order. Andrew, would you please call the roll?
Yes, Chairman. Honorable Cassandra Bowie on her way. Chairman Jay Zimbauer.
Present.
Mr. James Hartman.
Present.
Alternate Wayne Victor is on his way. Additionally present are Board Counsel, Assistant County Attorney Andrew Linius here, County Staff Dominique Drager
Here.
Supervisor of Elections Staff Chris Anderson
Here.
Supervisor of Elections Counsel Candace Brasco.
Here.
A quorum is present, Chairman.
Thank you very kindly. The minutes of the previous Canvassing Board meeting on Friday, November 15th, 2024 have been distributed. Are there any corrections to those minutes? If there are no corrections, hearing none, the minutes are approved without objection. If there are any corrections, without objection, but this is, never mind. Seeing no corrections, the minutes are approved as corrected. Is there any unfinished business the Canvassing Board member would like to discuss?
Nope.
Seeing none, is there any new business that any Canvassing Board member would like to discuss?
Nope.
Okay, now we'll move to public comment. We will now open the floor for public comment to the members of the public. The board has adopted a public comment policy which is available in the back of the room for all observers to read prior to participation. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. Speakers must state their name, address, and capacity in which they are appearing before the Canvassing Board. The Canvassing Board will not respond to comments as it is an opportunity to hear but not discuss concerns of the public. Observers are reminded that they are not allowed to interfere with the process, that they are not allowed to copy, video record, or photograph any signatures. All observers must be escorted when leaving a designated public area and must otherwise remain behind the stationed area. This board has zero tolerance for disruption of the process. Violators will be asked to leave. Are there any members of the public wishing to speak at this time? Seeing none, we'll move to the post-certification audit. We've reached a point in our meeting where we will conduct manual audits of Election Day in person, early voting, and mail ballots. During the manual audit, manual tabulators will manually count ballots to ensure the number of votes counted match the results of the election provided by the voting machines. Supervisor Anderson, may we proceed?
Yes.
Please do.
Let's do it. All right, we're going to start with vote by mail first. Well, at least we have a small race and a small district.
It's not that small. We learned that the other night. Because it's a city, you gotta go through all the ballots because all the ballots are the same.
Oh. Well, I didn't pick the race.
Yeah, that's all on me. Good morning, Candace. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Getting ready for the vacation holiday for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you traveling?
Yeah.
Where you going?
Go up to D.C.
I love DC.
Yeah.
It really is one of my favorite cities.
I enjoy visiting. I couldn't live there, but
Yeah, same.
Hey, you should go to the tree lighting in Alexandria.
we
It's
make
down at
it
the
there.
lower end of King Street, right in front of City Hall. It's a pretty big to-do, great place to go to dinner.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of places down here to go to dinner.
Yeah.
I think my daughter has me scheduled to take her to Mastro's.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, that'll be an $800 bill all day long.
Man. Oh, I didn't know. Yeah, it's just something to do.
Right.
And I think it's a day after Thanksgiving. And we have to confirm it, but it was always one of those enjoyable.
Right. This traffic around there is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
That whole D.C. metro area, I mean, it's spread out.
Once you know it, and you know,
When it's like
How to
I-4
maneuver
North,
it.
right? Like
Yeah.
you know it. Right.
it was like Alexandria. Everybody drive on King Street, all the tourists.
Right.
But the two side streets, one way this way, that goes where, what you would use.
You just move right on through.
Well, yes.
So they're sorting which ones now?
So this is vote by mail, and what they're doing is they're sorting the votes for these two candidates,
Okay.
and they're also sorting if there's any overs or unders.
Okay.
So they have a pile for candidate A, candidate B, and then for over and under.
Okay.
So then at the end, we will add up their count, and it should total up to what the machine got, and I'll bring it over here for you. And then for each candidate, and then we'll move on from vote by mail to early voting. Early voting is going to take them all. That's obviously the most popular method,
Right.
so there's a lot of paper. And then, oddly enough, there was a lot of unders.
Oh, yeah.
That makes sense.
I noticed that in those races, yeah.
That makes sense.
At least in the ones
So,
that
yeah,
had a
it's a
canvas.
lower ballot, lower small ballot.
Right.
So, and then election days got 2 trays as well, so that might take a little bit. But we should be done no later. I don't think we has to.
These are the numbers. I'll give them to you. That.
Which one is it?
Yeah, I remember there was a lot of undervotes in the ones we canvassed. They didn't even vote city votes.
Yeah, they just skipped it.
You know, they just talk about
Broken down by method. So this is just for about that. So
Okay.
this is what we'll come up with for that candidate, and then there should also be that balance.
unders and overs.
Yeah, that'll add up to that.
Okay.
And we'll transpose the hand count on here.
Okay. That's good.
And they will sign this, and then you all will sign this one.
Got it. What about that city council? The county council in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, that she says they're talking about the votes. You know, the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania said if it doesn't have any signature on it, you can't count the vote.
Yeah, they just ruled that, right?
Well, no, they ruled it like weeks ago. And then after the voting, the city councilwoman says, well, everybody breaks the law all the time. I say we count. I move a motion, we're going to count them all. And she got a second and a unanimous. So they started the endeavor to count the votes. The Supreme Court said they couldn't. So they did a fast track hearing to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said, no, stop.
Well, there was just a new thing that said it was going to affect the recount on the Senate race. Supreme Court. I think it was maybe the same.
Yeah, I think the same thing. But she said, I mean, it's right in the public hearing.
You know, it's just
It's like, really?
these states, their election code is so dusty.
Right.
And they need to update that thing.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get that kind of stuff happening. They're like, let's just do this. What?
Right.
You can't do that.
No.
You think we're
Her
gonna-
statement was, someone pointed out, they said, you know, the Supreme Court has already ruled and you can't count that. And she says, her statement in public hearing was, well, people break the law every day and nothing happens to them, so we're just going to send a message to the court, we don't agree with it.
That's not how it works.
It's like, it doesn't work that way. It's like, oops.
Well, people do break the law every day.
Of course. Yeah.
Hopefully there are consequences.
Yeah, that's
But that doesn't mean that you're supposed to. Like,
right, right. Well, now the Supreme Court even went one step further and said she personally could be held responsible.
Ugh.
I'm like, oh boy.
What's that mean? What does that look like? That's crazy.
It's glad it's all over.
Yes.
Or we're going into the next phase.
Right.
Well, you know, like you know, like how it used to be. You know, it happened. Okay, cool. So now everybody kind of gets a breather.
Right.
And then, all right, you know, we'll go back into this 2-3 years later.
Well, the good news was it was not too close of a race.
Right.
If it had been a very close race,
But I'm
it'd probably been
glad.
every state in this union going back through it.
Yeah, I can tell you SOE prayer just went big.
Right.
Like, which race was it? We had a race that was 1.12%.
That was David Smith, wasn't it?
No,
No?
it was a. I think it was a Sanford race, but it's close. I mean,
Smith's
it
was
would've
pretty
been-
close.
His was pretty close. Yeah. So it was.
Sanford
This
City
race was,
Council.
yeah, this close. This race was closer. If it would have just been a 0.5% less, we would have been a recount situation.
Redoing the whole thing. Yikes.
Which it's a machine recount. Like
Right.
over the weekend, we put about 500,000 pieces of paper through the machine. They held up. They did. We lost one, but they did their job. They spit out that paper like nobody's business.
Wow.
We got our money worth.
Well, Lisa and I were in Philadelphia when they were doing the ballots last time. We went downtown to where they counting the ballots.
But they can't start till election day.
It's like streets were full of people, man. I mean, full of people. It was like a Mardi Gras.
I mean, their ballot count has got to be pretty extravagant. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about millions of people.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Room full of people. I mean,
Ballots have been everywhere.
yeah. I mean, it was crazy. I'm sitting there going, how do they keep track of all this?
California still counting.
I think so. It's because their deadlines are so like to cure a ballot is like 12 days afterwards. It's like,
Well, and they have big ballots too. I mean,
you know, everything's got to be proportional. You know, like because you hold up. You know, right now, like everybody is trying to balance everything out,
Right.
Make sure everything is correct. But could you imagine if we had another deadline for ballots?
Right.
You can get past it.
Exactly.
Like you never put it to bed.
It's not looking great.
Well, I'm not an advocate of it should be federally controlled, but there should be some guidelines on
Right.
using a certain kind of equipment or whatever to make it more efficient to get it done
It needs to be more consistent.
across all the
Across
states.
all.
Right.
You have to at least do this.
Right.
Right? Like it can't be this.
Right.
Hey, Will. You doing that?
Sorry, I'm late. No worries.
It's fine, bud.
come on in.
Hello, everybody.
And Judge Bowie is on her way. I just spoke with her.
Okay. All right. All right. Good. I was going to let you sit there, but if Bowie's on her way, you want to go to your regular seat? You want to go to the far
We got
end?
a special chair. The old chair. That's what it's seeing.
At 10 o'clock at the beach. So, no worries. I was swearing in new commissioners this morning, so I just got here a little bit before 12.
Like, at least you shouldn't be past 2:30.
In the morning.
Yeah, you see all those boxes back there? We got duplicated all those boxes of ballots.
Yeah, sure we do. We got a public all those big, all that paper that you guys we're putting them on. Just
How many ballots we're going to go through? A couple thousand?
Shows how important you are to the office.
28 cents.
What exactly?
So we're comparing the machine count, which is this is low by now.
I hope that they.
We're comparing what the machine said to what the actual turkey is getting. So they can count this particular.
It's separating by the person voted for.
Yep, or over and under.
Once I finally get all this stuff down pat, counted either.
Right.
Yay!
No, don't count on that.
Oh, it's
You can be here next time, but I won't.
I don't know that I'll be invited for that. You're not coming next time?
No, I'm sorry.
What's it not?
Once in enough?
I was just thinking about
It was a great
the
experience.
next 3 years, it'd be nothing.
Yeah,
I mean, just be like city races.
unless there is.
well, no,
But I already blocked your number on your phone, so.
Yeah, it's gonna be busy.
Oh, yeah, I think that's, yeah.
So I mean, what we've seen is in 2018, instead of 25% turnout, it's up 28 because of the open seat in government. So, and then you're gonna have an open Senate seat, so you're gonna probably get to 28, 30%. Won't be near as much as this. The reason why this was a lot is because you have two pieces of paper, that make up one ballot, right? So,
Well, I got an excuse in 26 because that's not.
yeah, he'll be on it. So they can't do it. Oh, sorry,
What are
guys.
you running for? I'm just same position.
Unless he decides, unless he, if he runs unopposed, then they might could call you up.
Yeah. There may be a House seat coming up here soon that I may be looking at, but other than that, you and I go fishing.
Well,
Oh, 38. Think about it.
My wife's not too happy about it, but
state or federal? Yeah. You know, I talked
DC, man. I don't know if I can handle the DC deal for that long.
I've slept over my dog every day.
Well, it's difficult. I mean, at least you'd have a parking space someplace.
The things you do for a parking
And
spot.
you'd have a little box office
Right.
and a ton of stuff. There are other things, but ever since they did away with earmarks, I mean, life has changed. And,
My wife's like, you better not. You better not.
Well, you can hang out in Tally for a couple of months.
Well, yeah, exactly.
It's not difficult.
I think governor would be.
It's not difficult.
I don't know what's going to happen there. I don't know who's
Oh, that's gonna be a stacked time.
Hey, Josh.
It's gonna be
I made it.
Yes. Oh, can't be seen really bad. Finish up. How was sport this morning?
It was long.
Well, I don't think this will be as long. Supervisor said about 2 to 3 hours.
Oh, okay. What time we started?
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Oh, okay, good afternoon.
Hey there.
Hello, hello.
Jay, that might be a nice little change.
I've been here since 8 o'clock.
I just walked in. Yeah.
I know I saw your name right above, right above mine.
Gotta go.
The biggest thing about DC is the,
Hello, hello, Supervisor. How are you? I'm well, thanks.
there's some really good apartments. They're big.
Huh? You getting me?
Right.
They're young, you don't have.
So what we're doing right now is we are starting out with vote by mail.
Okay.
And they are hand counting to make sure that we come up with the machine count numbers that are.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
If you really want to do public service, that's great. But if you have a family, you're raising a young family, I would suggest you wait until your family is raised. Because if you're really going to put into it,
Or stay involved at the local level.
correct. Because if you're going to put the time into it, that really shouldn't put into it, you're not going to be home much.
That's what we have.
Well, it's not an 8 to 5.
Thank you. Is that correct?
Yes, 386.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Good deal.
Move on, guys. Let's do Mark.
Keep up that good work. Yeah, I thought about that. Of course. Martha. Yes.
Well, it's like Lisa says, she's like, look, you know, you're 63 years old.
For Myers?
I'd like to spend my
They can't.
right now. You spend 7 days a week on your phone, talking to people, on your social media.
So that's the other part.
180. Okay,
We're good?
we're good.
All right. Let's do,
And you remember,
Or at the very least.
I mean, she supported me, but she hated me.
Fine.
Social.
Like, no problem, here's the amended, we'll do that full special hearing,
I'm like, no overvotes.
Undervote?
72. You're good.
Yep, perfect.
72 is correct.
By the way, right, so the court says they tried to issue like new subpoenas and signs and stuff, and the court said, we're not doing what the court. So they're corrected. It's not moving forward. So I say, let's just communicate there.
Then you're going to do early voting and then
Early voting
next
will
day.
take a little bit longer. It's a lot more.
Because we still remember, you guys came over for 3rd of July, and we got pictures of you guys down. And Mark and Tina, right here. Right. And you guys went on 7-year off and making the Martian notes. I mean,
December 6, 2017.
Here are the dates. Bring it. And then she finally got back to the action that's necessary. We just wanted to not go after
well, she's a tough one.
She's a tough cookie.
She's a great guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why do you say?
Well, oh, no, sorry, I misunderstood. I think we're good now.
Okay, good.
So, well, here was the problem.
Sometimes we got to do that.
And not
Like that Thursday night.
Early voting, so remember, two stacks, so don't get started. I'm gonna come around with the second stack.
Why don't
that we weren't gonna go on.
No, he's doing one tray passing out, another tray passing
Did
out.
not answer.
He's not doing one.
And then, said, forget it.
I gotta take a trip.
No matter what he said it in one.
Yes, no, it's been nothing. Yes, we gotta go to Alaska.
Tell you the trip that I want to do.
That's a lot cleaner version of all three.
Oh, okay, perfect. It's all three.
36.
Happy days in your house.
What's
that?
And I'm not.
You know something, I don't know, rhetorical. Yeah.
Trip we want to do, that sounds as weird as it might, is I want to take the train to the Canadian Rockies.
Yeah. Yeah, we mentioned that before.
I knew a guy who actually worked on it. He used to do it all the way down, all the way to Victoria.
You know what would be kind of cool? Is taking the California Zephyr, which I took her up to, from Chicago, Oakland, then taking the other Amtrak up to wherever, Vancouver, I guess, and then catch that Canadian one back. You'd have to really like train.
Right. Does it go like Vancouver to Toronto, or?
I have no idea what that's.
Well, there's one that goes,
It's the one that goes through all
all the way across the lower part of Canada, all the way
Yeah.
to Vancouver.
Yeah, probably Vancouver. Have you ever been to Victoria?
I think it would have been.
We used to, oh, yeah. Yeah.
The state of Washington, the whole upper quadrant.
Yeah, we did that a lot. We'd fly out and then a couple days in Seattle, drive over to Port Angeles, go up to the Olympic thing. You can't take a ferry, do the early morning ferry to Victoria, spend a day over there.
Yeah.
Come back, and then drive the coast down. So it's just, nowadays we drive it over. So, right. It's a favorite trip. Ready to go overseas right now.
Yeah, I was supposed to go Czech Republic next year.
Well, yeah, close.
I know.
Why there?
I know.
But
We used to go apparently. Watch the kids.
Oh,
Yeah, so we've always said we're going to go over there and we got a place to stay and she can be our tour guide and the whole nine yards.
that's the way to do it.
It's just outside of Prague. She works in Prague. Her
God's
husband's
supposed to
from
be
Prague.
running and while you're over there, you can go to other places. Yeah, on my list, Portugal, Spain.
Yeah, Portugal would definitely be good.
Then up into the Dolomites in northern Italy, and then approximately France.
Yeah, we have an election worker. They're moving to Spain. They were going over there to Italy and Spain so much. The wife was just like,
I want to stay here.
why would you stay?
A lot of expats.
Expats are on. $40 a month for healthcare?
Oh, yeah. My sister, her husband is a, I'm not sure what his title is, but he is a retired, the lowest general you can be.
Brigadier.
In the Navy or whatever. And he's an
Admiral.
yeah, he's now a civilian, but he's in charge of stocking all the military hospital ships. The company that makes sure all the supplies.
They got everything they need.
Yeah, he's out of Norfolk, but they're trying. The UN wants him to go to Italy.
Okay.
They're moving to Italy. And they're gonna pay for
You gonna put it on your down? Okay, cool. I'm not I'm in.
can't do anything about it.
It's just,
Yeah.
right.
Send me somewhere.
Kids are out of the house probably.
Yeah,
So it's
they're
just
all
winter.
raised, gone.
Yeah. Permanent vacation. Cool.
My friend, he's still in the Army, but they took the kids. He had a 2-year in Germany. Yeah, the kids just loved it.
Yeah.
Sure.
But they went on base.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And her job said she would work remotely over there, which is
Perfect.
perfect for her.
I just see the workforce just transitioning some positions in that regard.
Yeah, I take up the power bill if you don't need to.
Well, like a lot of SREs, the IT profession, they couldn't keep people because the IT people were like, if I can't work from the house, you know,
Right.
I'm gonna leave.
So we got plenty of other places I can go work from home.
So we were all calling each other like, hey, what would you do? And I'm like, you kind of need,
IT people, that's right.
they kind of got you in a grip, you know, they got you in a vice, like you can't really tell them no.
Yeah, certain jobs.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
High priority ones.
And then there are others that they're vulnerable not only to being recalled into the office, but also artificial intelligence.
Right.
Taking over their job. 'Cause that's-
Correct. The whole artificial intelligence, man, if they don't watch that close, the good, the bad, and the
Oh,
ugly.
yeah, just like anything else.
That technology, man.
I think some people, some organizations are way further into it than we are.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, I had it right by the picture. Chat GPT, man.
Boom, there it is.
Free app.
Right?
Plug it in.
Yeah.
I guess like the colleges and the university, they got like this anti-chat GPT to like catch it.
So there have been systems around, I wouldn't call them apps, but the universities would have, where they could check like papers and
Yeah.
so forth against
Like
plagiarism.
plagiarism.
You know, which is very important now. Kids are just passing first papers.
Right, right. History paper on board. Oh, perfect. Here we go. Right. All good. All good.
Think about doing manual mathematics.
Yeah. Right. I had an app on my phone that I could scan my kid's product and it would do the whole thing. Literally.
Oh, that's nice to have. My kids never asked me to help.
Same.
That's why I got the app.
It was always my wife.
It's my life. I just. That's how you do it.
My standard answer
Spend
was,
more time
I did my homework, you do yours. I'd look over a half hour later, there's my wife sitting down going through it.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Well, the way that we all learn math and the way they do it now, it's completely different.
Yeah.
So you can't even help them. It's like, I don't know the way Jonah and I were talking about that. It's just they do it so differently that it's just kind of
Oh, yeah, it's a whole different.
it's a whole different.
Yeah.
So that's I think I have the app anymore, but it was like a math app. You could scan the problem and it would do it for you.
I said, hey, you better be worried about your job. She was, why? I said, because back in here, they're going to be looking at cutting fat everywhere. And the big one's going to be in the DOD. And she goes, well, that's okay. We're holding proprietary secret information. So if they cut us, we can have
It's
Like, okay.
It's a lot deeper.
I read an article about it, like, it was an article. One of the media outlets. There's apparently like a federal law that protects it.
right.
So like it's not as cut and dry as
They want to make it think it's big.
Yeah, you know, this comes around every so often.
Yeah.
Remember when Gore came in with his,
Yeah, he did it too.
this big thing? And, you know, it's a valid target to be looking
It is.
all the
It is
time.
very 4 million people. That is very interesting. Like, you know, you have to ask yourself.
There are some ways,
Yeah.
just by default.
I mean, that's what I did as a commander.
Exactly. Same
Go
here, right?
in, and people hired me to come in and look at everything closely. And
Be like,
but I didn't stay and maintain things. I hated that.
right.
You know, and then the next person would come in.
Yep.
You know, and you build on it.
You do. You
Because
kind of, you
there's
need
always
that.
that pressure for building these bureaucracies.
Right, right.
So, and the federal government is, but until I worked up there inside the background and Grand City, I didn't have any use for federal boards. But once I got them up, they're the smartest people on earth.
Oh, yeah.
Working in these, working in
Oh,
these-
absolutely.
It blew my mind.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, you definitely need a number, right? Like, you know, but you know there's somebody out there that's been getting paid really well to do a lot.
And there's some that are not qualified, shouldn't even be there.
Oh, well, that's those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're
But those are
a friend of somebody's friend.
No, they're hidden so well.
Right.
Right.
You know, they're gonna.
And again, it's passed the law that none of us were aware of until today
Yeah.
that protects them.
Oops.
So we, so I think, if they do it, it's probably going to be people with 20, close to that
Yeah.
mark to where, because they got to have,
Give them a buyout, have a nice life.
because if you think about it, like it's interesting to create an organization to review another one. You're almost playing into the same stereotype.
But there is some overlap. Some of these agencies could collaborate.
Absolutely.
Yes.
If you're studying how mice contract a virus, blah, 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 and that one's studying how mice contract, bacteria or whatever, why don't y'all just join the
The
deal together?
duplication of things just
Well, I think like Florida, we did it with, what was the Department of, they had a law enforcement. I think it was
FDLE, and you had,
because the state troopers combined with
DOT. It was
DOT,
DOT.
right?
Yeah, because
So, I mean-
they took away all the commercial enforcement officers
Right.
and absorbed them into the highway patrol. Until then, you now got to do the commercial.
yeah, that's what it should be.
So, so it can be done, right? Like you can get absorbed and,
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy work. And there's always.
and I have no idea how long it took for them to get to that point to do it, but I mean, they literally took out a whole arm of, and they did actually. It was of a benefit because FHP could never staff.
No.
Their pay is too low.
Well, what ended up happening was the commercial enforcement side suffered after that.
There's no, oh, really?
Yeah, because they didn't have enough officers now in FHP to do that, to patrol and the commercial vehicle enforcement. Because the commercial vehicle enforcement, their whole job is just go park out on the interstate
Yeah.
and pull trucks over and do a roadside check and see if they meet all the specs.
This is a worthy plight. I mean,
It is. Oh, dude, it is. That's an 80,000-pound missile rolling down the highway.
Very true.
It's
A lot of those guys weren't certified to even do that.
100%.
But no one wanted to go work for them because it's like, I'm over here at the sheriff's office making 43, 45. You go over there, you're going to make like 30, 32.
Yeah, as a state officer.
And it's kind of boring too because, I mean, if you're not wanting to sit out on the highway and just hang out.
Yeah, right.
And most of those young guys, man, they want to go and, chase bad guys and turn the lights on.
Do all that heroic stuff.
Yeah. It's for the
Then 10 years later, like, hey, get out of this now.
not a place to be as FWC, but
Well, Chase, my son, he wanted to be a wildlife officer.
Yeah.
And he went to, he started with getting his degree. And then he started going and figured out they don't make much money.
Yeah.
And he wanted to be on the federal side. So I went and interviewed with him. And he's like, man, I could be like here this year. And 3 years later, I could be in Alaska. 3 years after that, I could be in Miami. 3 years after that, I could be in Hawaii. That sounds a good way to travel. He goes, I don't want to do that.
or you could just watch that TV show like I do.
Correct.
Right. I get my fill of it. And then I go, okay, now I'm going to watch.
I'm an Alaska
Wicked
State
tuna.
Trooper. I was like, I never last over there. I'm a Florida boy. I was that cold. No, thank you. So yeah, I mean, they're gonna have to have some type of success. So I could see them looking at some of those agencies and just saying, we could shrink some of this stuff.
Yeah, it's not so, the federal government, when you look at the actual numbers of their employees, it's pretty static over decades.
Really?
Yeah, because they hire all the contractors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's how you do that.
And that's what they're really gonna be going.
Well, and it'll be political.
It will.
So,
Well, it will.
It's like me sitting there in the commission meeting going, hey, look at this one. We, for the last 20 years, we've hired 8 consultants to do the same scope of work.
We already did.
Why are we going to do that again?
because. So now in Seminole, how many employees you got? When I was there, it was like 13, 15, or 12.
We're almost about 1,350. And when I came on, we were at 1,100 and something.
Well, that's because after
We had a lot of positions open.
yeah.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
The sheriff's office had no big deal either. He had 1,400 and something, we had 1,100.
Yeah.
Well, of course, we
You
did.
came on when?
2018.
18. So I left in 14. And then you went on the planning commission like that year, right?
2014, 15.
Yeah.
If I kick somebody,
Yeah, and the bench was really thin when I was there.
Well, you have to have smart growth. Right? Like, you're going to get more, similar experience. It's massive amount of growth. So, the need for services increase exponentially. So, it's natural, but, you just got to be kind of smart about it. Pay, the law passed, and now we're having to pay people at least different numbers and stuff. So, I think you got to get a salary study, and then we piggybacked off of that. When I started here,
Yeah, we're due to do another one, I think, this coming year.
Yeah.
Because when we kicked that off,
Usually every 5 years.
well,
It's been done.
when we kicked that one off, I said, when's the last time we did that? Oh, it's been like 8 years. I'm like, why? So when we adopted, I made him adopt this. We're going to do it at least every 4 years.
Well, it doesn't mean that you don't look internally and make
Correct.
certain corrections.
Right,
Sure. Based on competitiveness.
You're just going out to the market.
But, going to hire the consultants that do this for a living that come
Right.
in. And, part of their tenure, the first one I ever did as a manager was Colorado. And I thought my employers were just ripped them and stuff. Really? Yeah, and she was really just aggravating to all of us. And anyway, we accepted the results, made some changes. Simple. I mean, because if you get the wrong consultant with the wrong attitude,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, those can be really, really tricky. But
Yeah.
today, I think it's easier to get information.
Yeah.
I agree. Than it was
30 years ago.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you had to manually survey all these other places. When we did when I was in D.C. That was 2005 to 11. I mean, every year, the Council of Governments, which is 21 local governments within the D.C. area, they would do a big salary survey and so forth. And everybody kind of piggyback on that. And you were expected to share all your information.
Yeah, that's what
But
I do.
not
Because we
everybody,
can't do
not
it.
everybody did.
Right.
It's just, you're competing now. I mean, I remember just driving past the McDonald's one time. My partner told Jay, he said, like, you can go be a manager at McDonald's for $15 an hour. I can't pay these people $12 and then ask them not to.
Yeah.
Like, go work at McDonald's and take vacation and not have to be here. Like,
Well, there's still places in America where the minimum wage is still the federal 7.5.
Right, yeah. Yeah, you go
Today, someplace.
You go in the heartland and parts of the deep south,
Yeah.
no question. I mean, you go to some of these communities in the deep south, like Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, where the median household income is like $38,000, $45,000 a year.
The audit is the only thing we're doing today, right?
that's it. Yeah, we'll be out here pretty soon.
No, I was just curious.
Hard work's over. Yeah, after this we have election day and then that's it. We're done.
You're right. This was early voting was the largest.
Yes.
136,000 people.
Turned out for early voting.
They have to double that because you have two-page card.
Right.
So that times two for the amount of paper you have to go through to pull out cards.
So I guess everybody was pretty happy about your amendments and so forth.
Yeah.
I mean, that was
And they passed high numbers,
Real high.
like 80-some%. Amendments.
Yeah, it makes a big statement.
Yeah. Yeah. And our one thing passed at 73 county.
And that, which is amazing.
That's a huge, and it is so beneficial to our citizens to have that. That's basically everything we do is a 30% discount.
We went out to dinner the other night with some folks, but we didn't vote for that anything. I said, well, you should. You should have. And I gave them the lecture. And things like that. Most people no brainer.
Right.
Bragging about it.
I mean, we ran the numbers on it, and to raise that kind of money would be which is a big impact to our citizens.
Right. And even though, sales tax is more regressive, here is a good way to pay for that. And the fact that out of town or something they call tourists, but people living in other counties.
So about how much do you all think we'll get from penny sales tax?
Well, we think over the next 10 years, it should be $2.5 billion.
That's a lot of money. For school, capital, and the cities and
Cities, the county, and the schools. And we'll actually leverage that. Probably we'll probably get another
For Baker, that's the number right there. So your paper
369.
ballot count is 664.
Wait, which one?
Your paper ballot count is, so a total
Okay.
is 60, but you have 2 audio ballots,
2 what ballots?
2 express vote, is what we call them. So this is, and we're doing Baker. So where is he? 1, 2.
Okay.
So that makes it up. So we're good.
666.
Jeez, does it have to be that number? But we'll be able to probably receive another, probably over that 10 years, $300 to $500 million in federal grant money,
Oh, really?
because we have the money to match the federal grant.
Oh, wow. Okay.
What's your number?
For Meyer, for early voting, 241.
No, that's election day.
Election, no, 369. Okay.
We're good.
Perfect.
And overvotes? 1.
So we have, what's this?
How many overs do you have in early?
1.
Okay, perfect. We have 1. And
Undervotes, 217.
all right, so let's do under.
41.
87.
53.
Okay.
216, and then you have 1.
216. We have 1 shy. Okay.
No selection. So
Okay.
217. We're good.
217.
Okay.
Good.
That's up.
The wrong location. Last one. Election day.
All right.
You guys put in the file for me?
I mean, they're getting
So now, is this an additional penny tax, or is it
No, it's the
It's a
same one we've always
continuation
had.
of.
Continuation of what we already had for another 10
Okay,
years.
to another 10 years? So then it'll come back on the ballot for another 10 years to
Correct.
determine whether or not we want to extend it.
Right. And it's got caps on it, so it's only for the first 5,000 of value. So if you buy a $10,000 car, you only pay for the first 5,000 in that extra payment.
Okay.
No medical, no food, no pharmaceuticals are taxed.
Just basically like non-necessity.
Yeah, it pretty much follows the same narrative as the existing state sales tax, with the exception of it has a cap
Okay,
on a maximum of $5,000 big purchase. So
that's good to know.
that's $50 on a $50,000 car or $60,000 car.
Yeah, I think the first one had the building a new jail
Yeah,
and sheriff's facility,
correct.
and that must have been 2004? Because
94.
94. Yeah, that's right. I remember I was in
94.
And then it got reauthorized in 2004.
Correct.
Then I helped do the one in 2014.
Correct. Because the commission then let it lapse
We let it
for
lapse.
1 year.
Right, because there was too much money in the coffers from the old one, so. That was right after I was hired. I'm going, what?
And so what is this one going to be earmarked for? What are we doing with this? What do they want to do with it?
Well, it's the same, basically continued the infrastructure improvements with roadways. And one of the big projects that we're doing is Ronald Reagan at 434, the intersection there in Longwood, where the Sunrail tracks cross. That's a Florida Department of Transportation roadway, which means they're supposed to pay for it.
Yeah.
They can't pay for it for who knows how long. It might be 5 to 10 years.
You gonna do flyovers?
So we're going to do it.
Okay.
In exchange, they're going to give us the same amount of money and then some back in additional projects.
Okay, so how are they going to do it? What are they going to do to it?
We're going to add turn lanes to the right turn lanes and left turn lanes and pedestrian crossing improvements.
So still be at grade.
Yes, at grade. I think it should be a flyover too, but
It's hard there because when
Yeah, it is,
when you
yeah.
think about the flyover at 50 and 436,
red bug.
Oh,
it killed.
It takes out a lot of businesses.
But then what about the one like in Castleberry?
Yeah, so that one
Yeah.
took a bunch of businesses.
And then we're going to do the connection between Oviedo, 434, and 417. That's that whole bottleneck. You can't get to 417 from Oviedo, it's a 2-lane road. So that's going to be done. We've got a bunch of flood projects to do.
I was going to say, are you going to, like over in Midway area, are you going to?
We're going to spend like 30 or 40 million dollars.
Okay.
We've already spent 12 million there.
It needs
Oh,
it.
yeah. We've already bought all the property to do it.
Oh, have you?
Now it's just starting to put the infrastructure.
And what about over off of 20th, not 20th Street? Yeah. Martin Luther King over in that way.
That'd be Sanford.
Right.
That's the
Oh,
city of
that's Sanford. Okay.
So, I mean, they've got some things, but the one thing that I insisted going into this contract with the cities and the school board, that was never in previous contracts, was we will collaborate with the cities and the school board. So, by example, if the city of Sanford is planning to do something over there off MLK, and we're planning to do something right up to that border, that we will caucus and we'll let one government do the whole thing instead of 2 different entities trying
Yeah.
to
To do it.
schedule it at different
Yeah,
times.
which is how it all should work. Correct. Doesn't.
Right.
So.
Yeah,
because the population of this county is really not going to grow a whole lot over the next 10 years.
You don't think so?
I think with some redevelopment like corridors, but it'll be more apartments. It's not going to be your single-family subdivision. There's no room for them.
Yeah. Well, I agree with that.
It'll
But you
be-
see a lot of apartments coming.
Apartments and townhomes.
Townhomes.
Townhomes are just really efficient. And if you learn how to make the communities look good, right? You know, like rear-loaded garages. Correct. I mean, there are ways to do it without adding horrible costs, and they can be beautiful communities. That's right. But, you know, the sprawl is not going to happen here. The sprawl is going to happen every place but correct. Because they have more land. And they don't protect it. Whereas some
Oh,
just-
ours is protected, so.
And they have.
Well, that's a good thing.
And it's cheaper for the taxpayers.
I know that he rode his horse to an Orange County board meeting.
That was me all the way from Seminole downtown Orlando.
Did you really?
Yes, ma'am.
Biggest horse in Central Florida.
Rode it
And what was that for?
right up to the county commission chambers in the front yard and tied it up. And the guy comes over and goes, "You can't have that horse here." I said, "Oh, yes, I can."
Did you tie him to the leaper?
Yeah. They were trying to develop a 1,500-acre tract of property in Orange County that backed right up.
They're still trying to do it.
Yeah, to Seminole County's rural boundary, which would have basically just completely taken away the whole aesthetics of the rural boundary. That was in 2010. I did that. I remember those police officers were losing their mind.
I thought that was so funny.
And I said, "Well, I think Jerry was the police chief at that time in Orlando." And I said, "Well, you better call Jerry up about talking to him, because I'd already talked to his people." And they understood
What were you doing?
what the horse laws were in the state of Florida. See, a lot of people don't know. If there's a horse in a roadway, you've got to give the right of way to the horse. The horse can basically go anywhere in the state.
So how'd you get there? What route did you take?
We actually took all the way down through Curry Ford Road and worked our way back up Orange Avenue.
Oh, wow.
That was the path of least, it was the longest, one of the longest,
Yeah.
but the path of least resistance. This is the day of.
Yeah. I'm glad you made that drive. I thought I was going to participate. Yeah, not necessary.
Here, you want to work check marks?
No. That's asking too much.
Yeah, man, I can remember a day when you could ride your horse all the way across all these counties in the Central Florida area. I remember the Orange County Sheriff for juvenile delinquents that really got in trouble. He had a wagon train. They could start in Orange County with cowboys and horses, and they'd load those kids in those wagon trains, and they'd go all the way down to the Deseret Ranch in the back
Oh, wow.
for 2 weeks. And they had to fend for themselves, cook for themselves.
Wow.
I mean, they were doing that up until, I think they were doing that up until the early 90s still.
Like Lawson Lamar.
Yeah. Yeah.
They used to come all the way out of Orange County, down 520. All the way down that right of way. All the way down to Osceola County. And it was designed to give those kids some kind of impactful training for responsibility on how to be
Sure, I
responsible
mean, that's
for
like
their
a lot of the
actions.
different camps.
Right.
No, the Seminole Sheriff runs something.
Who does?
Yeah, it's called PACE.
Pace?
Yeah, they have a juvenile program.
Yeah.
Well, Galuso he's the juvenile judge, isn't he?
He's one of them. There are two.
Isn't it,
Delinquency for Galluzzo and Orth.
Okay.
They do. They handle the
That's tough
delinquency.
to watch
with
those
that.
kids come in, some of the stories those children have been through.
Oh my God.
Tough decision to make there.
That in foster care.
Yeah.
Hardest things in it.
Yeah, that is really sad.
In North Carolina, I had over 800 kids in foster care.
Really?
Wow. And I had a huge department. And people who used to have to separate, families and so on. When you really kind of dig into that, it's the hardest thing I think government does.
Oh, yeah.
It is very hard.
And watching the social workers, and some of them have been in the, doing that for years and years.
Oh, they get so burned out.
Yeah.
The craziest one was going to trial for the state's attorney on a criminal case down in Orange County. And I was one of them testifying for the state on a manslaughter case. And jury convicted the defendant. And the judge says, okay, you got to give a DNA sample, if you've not been convicted. And they had people out there in the hallway ready to take the sample. And his father stands up in the middle of the courtroom and goes, why are you making him do that? When I was here 25 years ago, I didn't have to do that. And I'm like, oh, there's your sign.
And
If you refuse it, it's another felony.
Yeah.
and that's going to do what? That does what?
Exactly.
That tells us what?
Exactly what we need to know. It's when I was a cop, man, I would have if you stay in law enforcement long enough, you end up dealing
The
with that.
father, the son, and the
Then you
grandchild.
get that.
Yeah, it's a family thing, unfortunately.
I had a judge tell me down in Osceola County one day, I'd known him for years, and we were all getting ready to take lunch break, and he goes, why don't you come back to my chambers, okay? So I go back there, and he goes, man, he says, you know how crazy things are in this world? And I'm like, yeah, they're pretty crazy. He's like, I'm seeing grandchildren of the grandparents that were in my courtroom 30 years ago.
It's crazy.
In my courtroom today. I'm like, yeah, that chain needs to be broke.
Crazy.
It does. So more preschool is the start. I mean, I can go down.
Oh, I think-
it really is.
I think we've come a long way in I mean, it's not perfect and it's not completely cured,
No.
but through the last couple of decades, it's become better. Now, there's probably areas of the country it's not.
Well, there's still entrenched poverty and
Right.
just how cyclic it is. And couple that with mental health.
Right.
And they're hard systems to get people who hold the purse strings to really invest in because there's so much competition for it.
I always get excited when I see a child come from a family of poverty, generational poverty,
Yeah.
who has just all of a sudden been able to break away because he was given a chance or given the opportunity or had a mentor somewhere that is now a doctor, an attorney, dentist, has
Yeah,
broken
and
that
they'll pay
chain.
that forward. I mean,
Yeah, that's kind of my story.
yeah.
That's, I mean, I was the only child of 4 born in Florida. And then we moved from Florida to Pennsylvania, or Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and Maryland all come together. My 3 siblings were born there. My father grew up in Appalachia, and we moved back when I was 2. And all my siblings were born. And one day my mother told my dad, I'm not raising these kids here. We're going back to Florida. We came back to Florida in a U-Haul truck. And I think our mom said they had like $300 to their name. And I can remember that Christmas, my mom telling all of us kids, you ain't got much of a Christmas this year. Well, it's all going to be whatever handmade stuff we can make up or whatever. That was it.
Where'd you guys live in the beginning? I mean, your dad's shop, when did he start that?
That was 1974. So when we moved back to Fort Lauderdale, where I was born.
Oh.
Lived there for a couple of years to move to Orlando. And he started a business with one paycheck from Holler Chevrolet.
Really?
He worked for Holler Chevrolet.
Well, he built a good business there. I remember going there a few times.
And when I was in junior high school, I went to Glenridge Junior High in Winter Park. I'd ride my bicycle all the way from Glenridge Junior High to downtown Orlando to go to work with him.
Well, I think that's what made me such a successful law enforcement officer, because I would tell the young, especially the young kids that got out there arrested, I would share my story with them, because they'd be like, oh, you know, you came from whatever, you don't know what it's like. And I'm like, dude, I had more of a reason to be in the backseat of a police car than to be in the front seat. I knew all the drug dealers before I was a cop. I watched my dad abuse cocaine, drugs, alcohol. I ran from the police with my father. Like, I saw an immense amount of failure. And I always tell my dad used to say to me, Chris, I'm the perfect example of what not to be. And I sit here today hoping I'm the perfect example of what he wanted me to be. Like, and I would connect with them in such a way, like, they're like, really? I'm like, yeah, man, you're not the only one. You can do it.
That's right.
You can do it. You just got to make up your mind that you're not going to repeat that cycle.
That's right.
And I wanted to break the cycle, and I did. Yeah.
And the opportunity.
Ain't easy.
It ain't easy.
I was going to say it's hard.
No, that's right.
Because all you see is
Especially
one way.
for a black man, it's hard.
It's hard. It's hard.
I got a lot more to count on this one.
Yeah, this one's about closer to election day.
752.
Okay.
There's 2 stacks, so it was a little bit. Yeah, my grandmother, she never had the opportunity. My grandparents never voted, but she didn't get a chance to go until 1951. And when she saw me get appointed, I didn't think she would make it because she was sick. And she raised me. And I'm standing in front of the podium. I got the governor here, the lieutenant governor, secretary of state standing behind me. I look out over all these cameras, and there's little Ida standing there to my surprise. And she told me 3 things. She said, I guess all the whippings I gave you worked.
Or appropriate.
Well, yeah, and,
They work.
and she said, but I never see the day where I thought someone that looked like me would be running elections. And I was a pretty proud moment. She passed away in 2020, but, you know,
Oh, yeah.
I look at it now and I would say that this right here is just a portion of what's to come.
Right.
In my future. So
Exactly.
we're gonna end it on a good note. You guys ready?
He's only 40.
I remember getting a call from the governor's office that was year I was elected. And they wanted me to consider taking this position. And I went, no. I just got elected to the county commission. I don't want nothing to do with voting. They interviewed Lee, too. He accepted the position. I declined it. Said, nope, I don't want it. I'd rather legislate. That's where my skill set would be best served.
Much different. Yeah, much
Okay. So what's your total for Baker?
511.
So that's the paper ballot count.
Okay.
All right, and you have 507, 508, 509, 510, 511.
Okay.
You're good. Perfect.
Yay.
Okay, so let's do 9.
46.
67. 69. What's your number for?
241. All right.
Perfect. Overvotes? Okay, undervotes.
40.
Undervotes, 122.
233.
0 overs, 233 under.
We are good. We match.
Roll. Total should be 1,563. $790. Okay, our unders should be 522 overs, or unders, 1 over. Okay. Okay, all right. So if you guys would like to check it and then sign where your name is on the manual audit.
Let's see here. Maybe here.
790.
It's on Wednesday.
522.
You don't need the total.
You're having a good day, though. Just over $4.
246. It's 369, 241, 180. 760.
They'll need to sign.
217. Looks good to me. We need a green pen or a
You might want it in
Black.
black.
black or blue. If he wants it in blue, there's a good blue one. Chris, you want this signed in blue, black, red? Red?
Yeah, did you have the red pen up there?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah, ready for tomorrow after the bell. Okay.
Oh, we have several things to sign.
Just
don't we?
one.
No, just one.
Everyone else, the team members. So
When you ask for public record, I am Yes.
We'll make you sign this. Okay.
Bet these SGTV guys will be glad it's over.
Yes. That was a good idea at the time. Now they put so many hours on, we gotta get the cost down.
Yeah.
They've put way more hours than we've ever typically spent. My goal would be if once we ever get a new SOE building built with 5 points, which is probably 4 or 5 years away at least, is to have it set up with cameras.
Well, and you could do that in here. I mean, it doesn't have to be TV quality, but
Yeah.
I mean, you could put a microphone and
Yeah.
you guys do plan on building another building?
Yeah, 5 points.
whatever. Yeah,
Phase
man.
2 and Phase 2A, which should include Supervisor Alexis' office and County Services Building. But we gotta get through the courthouse
I
remodel
was going to
first.
say, where will you put it then?
Oh, we've got 80-some acres there at 5 points. We'll demolish all those old rickety Quonset huts and stuff where Public Works is at now. Those old metal buildings and all that stuff will be come down.
Isn't there a lake?
Yeah, there's a lake there, and that's where the SOE's office is supposed to go, is right there by the lake on 1792. That's where the vision of it is to go.
Yeah.
Parking garage, another parking garage.
Signed and sealed.
Oh, we're good.
That's it.
That's it?
We're done. You can close it out.
Is there any further business before the canvassing board?
Nope. Do they need to approve the last minutes?
You know what? No,
Okay.
I don't think so. I mean, this is statutorily required.
Yeah.
It would require us to schedule another meeting. That meeting would not be statutorily required.
I mean, minutes from the previous meeting.
We did.
Oh, they did that already.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, so these minutes aren't going to be voted on, but I think that would be appropriate. I don't
Yep.
think it would be appropriate to schedule further hearings.
Okay. All right, seeing none, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you all so very much. Totally okay.
Don't you all?